Right, I'm going to open today with something that has genuinely sent sections of the fan base into a new orbit of rage. And I say that after 4 days of watching them orbit pretty far already.
Maria, if this is about the referee thing, I swear, que barbaridad. I've been processing this one all morning, and I still cannot find the words.
The words are, the referee who did not give that penalty against Girona has reportedly been assigned to referee the Copa del Rey final. That is the news, and fans, as you can imagine, are not taking it calmly.
One fan put it perfectly, Tio, they said, and I'm translating this directly. They've rewarded the referee by giving him the Copa del Rey final to officiate. What a disgrace. What rage it gives. Madre mia, that comment was sitting at 82 upvotes. 82! The fanbase is united on this one.
And look, I've been running the sentiment numbers all morning. The conspiracy discourse has been building for days. We covered the VAR audio demands yesterday. We covered the mass Movistar cancellations the day before. But this is the moment that's pushed it from rage into something that feels almost like dark comedy for some fans.
Dark comedy. One fan wrote, I love this one. It's like catching a murderer with a smoking gun, and he just keeps shooting to kill more people. They don't care at all. They know they're untouchable. That's not anger anymore. That's despair. That's a fan base that feels completely helpless.
Another fan is calling for Florentino, whoever the president is, to formally report the Federation, the Liga, and the CTA, because, quote, they're all corrupt knowingly, and with the reward they've given these two miserable referees, there's no excuse. The institutional escalation demand is real.
And then, and this is where it gets spicy, Maria, there are other fans who are turning this around and pointing it back at Madrid. One comment said, classic Madrid, when they don't win, it's always someone else's fault, but we have 15 champions. Roncero 2.0. Basically calling the fan base hypocrites. No penalty, no party, they said.
Which, look, I understand that perspective from outside the fan base. There is a long history of every club claiming victimhood. But the specific detail of the referee getting rewarded with a final, that's a concrete thing that's hard to dismiss, regardless of which shirt you wear.
One fan even brought up a wild angle. They said Oscar Lago, a TV director at MediaPro, is hiding certain camera angles, and the press is covering for it, TVE included, and the whole structure is set up this way intentionally. Tio, this has gone full conspiracy infrastructure. It's not just one bad call anymore.
And then there's the Copa del Rey angle that's been bubbling under. One fan made a really pointed comment. Real Madrid made a grave error by entering the Copa del Rey in the first place. Which is fascinating because they're essentially saying, you walked into a rigged game, why are you surprised you got burned?
Venga, let's move because I need to talk about what some fans are saying about the league itself, because it's gone beyond just referee complaints now. Some fans are literally saying, quote, you don't need a midfielder, a center-back, or a coach. You need to get out of this corrupt league. They've skipped team building and gone straight to institutional exit.
Which connects to something Marca flagged. Madrid are now on a run of 4 games without a win, which apparently hasn't happened since the Lopetegui crisis. That context is sitting underneath all this referee fury, and fans know it. The refereeing narrative is partly genuine, and partly a very human way of processing a team that isn't winning.
I will say this though, and this is where I slightly push back on the pure conspiracy framing. Even with crooked refs, Madrid had 600 passes against Girona, 10 corners to 1. The dominance was real. The finishing and the luck were not there. Valverde got us the goal, Brahim got the assist, and then Lamar equalized and we couldn't find a winner. That's also a football problem.
All right, and speaking of Valverde, there were a couple of fan comments specifically about him, but interestingly, they got tangled up in the referee discourse again. One fan demanding Florentino take action essentially used the Valverde thread to pivot back to corruption, which tells you where the fanbase's head is at. Everything runs through that lens right now.
Valverde scored against Girona. He's been one of the few consistent performers in this rough patch, and even his thread becomes a referendum on the federation. That's how consumed the fanbase is with this. Madre mia.
Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather, the elephant that is literally arriving tomorrow. Bayern München, second leg, Munich, Madrid trail 2-1 from the Bernabeu. And the fan sentiment on this is interesting.
Interesting is a generous word. Some fans are fully leaning into the Remontada dream. We've covered that all week, the Cruz quote about Bayern not holding their level, the belief. But there's a new cynical current now. Some fans are basically saying, sure, we'll dream about the 15 champions again while the referees at home destroy us. There's a bitterness bleeding into the European hope.
One fan specifically mocked the whole pattern. They said the reliable old move, PE, PE, PE. We have 15 champions with laughing emojis. Which is fascinating because that's a Madrid fan mocking other Madrid fans for retreating to European glory as comfort. There's a real internal divide in the support right now.
And yet, vamos, you cannot kill the belief entirely. Mbappé scored in the first leg after coming on. Camavinga apparently is being pushed by Arbeloa for the Munich trip. Trent is in the squad. If this team clicks for 90 minutes in the Allianz Arena, Theo, anything is possible. We've seen this before.
Marca is flagging that Bayern have been on a historic goal-scoring run in the Bundesliga this season, threatening records. So the idea that they'll just sit back and let Madrid come at them is probably wishful thinking. But Madrid have Vinicius, they have Mbappé, and we've seen stranger things at the Allianz.
The first leg lineup had Pitarch starting, Carreras at left back, Huijsen and Rudiger in central defense. It was a makeshift setup. The question for Munich is whether Arbeloa makes changes. We know Militão came on as a sub in that game, Bellingham came on, but we'll see the starting shape tomorrow.
What I find most telling is that even fans who are completely checked out on La Liga, done, cancelled their subscriptions, calling it corrupt, those same fans are still emotionally invested in Munich. The Champions League is the one thing keeping the connection alive right now. It's the last thread.
And if that thread snaps tomorrow, Theo, I don't want to think about what the discourse looks like on Wednesday morning. But we're not there yet. Tonight the squad travels. Tomorrow is the match. And right now, despite everything, the referee chaos, the La Liga despair, the Girona draw, there's still something burning.
That's actually a good place to leave it. The fan base is furious, they're split. Some are mocking themselves, some are demanding institutional revolution. But nobody has actually turned off the Bayern second leg. That says everything.
Hala Madrid, Theo. Whatever happens in Munich, and I genuinely don't know what's coming, tomorrow morning we'll be here to run through every single fan reaction before kickoff. Join us then. Don't go anywhere.